Okay, now when that is done, we need to take out this tacking. We need to get rid of the tacking, which shouldn't take long because the stitches are nice and large. So we can cut those out and pull those out quickly, and we're back at the ironing board now because we need to use the iron to help us construct a good top channel on the bag. So what we're going to do is use the nose of the ironing board, and we're going to make the ironing board wear the bag. What we're doing now has started to take shape. We can see we have a bag here. So we put our bag on the nose of the ironing board with a seam facing upwards, and we press with our iron the seam open and flat for as far down the seam as the ironing board allows us, so something like 25 centimetres, something like that. It doesn't matter about ironing the very bottom of the bag, but what you will see now is because we've pressed this seam open and flat, where we didn't stitch it, we've got a 6 centimetre slit there, a hole, and that's going to be useful for our fastening and for our handles. Then move your bag around on the nose of the ironing board and do exactly the same thing to the other seam on the opposite side. Press it open and flat and give it an iron. And again, we're going to use the iron to put creases where we want them on here. We're going to turn in the top edge about 1 centimetre, just judge this by eye, and press a crease, making that top edge fold down. So run the bag around the nose of the ironing board. Keep pressing with your iron. Have the iron on a temperature suitable for the fibres of your fabric. So this, I'm ironing cotton, so my iron is on quite a high setting. Not too high though, because I'm using white cotton, and if the iron was very, very hot, it would be easy to scorch the white material, and that would be a shame, because then I'd have a kind of brown mark on a new bag. So we want to just keep an eye on the temperature that you use on the iron. Right, so we have that. Now what we do is we turn down this top edge again. We fold it following the turning of the first crease, so coming outwards as it were. The top of that slit there has got to rest on the bottom of the same slot, like that. So you just fold it down like that and you pin it. And as soon as you have done that, get round to the other side of the bag and fold it down again, the slotted edge on the other side. Fold it down again and pin it again. And then arrange the top of the bag so that the folded down edge is pretty much parallel all the way round, and pin it all the way around. And I think, yeah, we've got a sample here that's already done to save a bit of time. So do you see the channel is parallel? It's a nice, quite a wide band at the top of the bag. It's pinned, but of course again it's also tacked, and you can see we've got little openings at the top of the bag now. So what we've got to do with this is take out the pins, and the hand tacking, you know how to do that, but because it's been hand tacked, that should guarantee that you'll be able to stitch a good strong channel at the top of the bag. So we're going to stitch it now on the machine, and we're going to stitch it like this sample with 2 straight lines. I'm not going to use a fancy stitch on the bag, but you could, if you wanted to. You might have a machine that has lots of decorative stitches. For the sake of this film, we're just going to use straight stitches, but stitch twice to make twin stitching. So we start at the side seam, and I've taken off the table from the sewing machine because I'm going to use the free arm on the sewing machine, which means the sewing machine is going to wear the bag. You put the bag onto the free arm, and that means you can sew in a big circle. You've got to see your bag now as a circle, not as something flat with a front and a back. It's a circular object. So we start off, do a little back stitch, and then stay stitching close to that crease that you created when you ironed it a way back, when you ironed a centimetre turning. So do you see how the bag is rotating around the free arm of the sewing machine? Try and keep as straight as possible. And back to the beginning again, and back stitch. Okay. Cut off the threads. They get a lot of threads that get in the way. It's a good idea to cut them off to stop stitches from getting tangled in the machine when you sew, because that can spoil your work. Then another line, which is one way of making a straight stitch a bit more fancy by making it twin stitching. Definitely keeping this line flat and straight. So it's pretty much impossible to get this to look nice if you don't hand tack it. Nearly there.